everyone, Pushing Up Roses here and happy holidays. It's time for my annual Christmas movie riff. Last year I covered Hot Frosty and nearly got my channel deleted because Netflix wasn't happy about it. So this year I'm taking it down a few notches. I present to you Christmas at the Amish Bakery featuring questionable acting, almost zero scenes of baking, beards, eating filthy snow from outside, and the most amount of CGI snow you've ever seen in any movie. While this is not based on a specific book, it is based on a specific theme, Amish fiction, which I know absolutely nothing about, making me the perfect person to talk about this subject. What I gather about the genre is that it's very warm and cozy, sometimes romantic and family-oriented, so it fits perfectly with the cozy Christmas movies. For this one, they just needed to tweak the plot just a bit to include a big-time city woman who goes back to her small Amish town in Kentucky to save the family bakery. You can go on to any streaming service, pick out a new romantic Christmas movie to watch, and one of these three things will be featured: a bakery, a big city woman, and a miscommunication so explosive that it makes you want to scream. I know everyone is familiar with the holiday movie tropes by now, but I want to specifically point out the use of bakeries in cozy movies across the board. A lot of cozy mysteries include a bakery, one example being Murder, She Baked, which are films adapted from the work of Joanna Fluke. There's just something about a locally owned bakery that makes everyone feel warm and fuzzy inside. Even I started to fantasize about owning one, where I could sell scones and coffee and hang local art. Then a cute English dude will come in and make intense eye contact with me, and he'll be like, "Hello, I just moved here from a big city." And I'll be like, "Yes, I know. You're the one who wanted to bulldoze the children's library to put up the Apple store." And he'll be like, "I've changed and now I definitely want to bang a hot goth woman who has a small bakery." And then I'll ask him if he wants to try my cookies. So bakeries are just the perfect setting for cozies, rom-coms, holiday films, and now it's perfect for my upcoming adult romance book. Despite it being produced by a company called Up Faith and Family, it's not particularly heavy on anything faith-based. It's more just overly saccharine and inoffensive. The biggest crime is that the lead character is from Chicago, and they never show a single person interacting with the city. There's just some stock footage. My city deserves way better than that. At least show a picture of a Chicago hot dog. The movie begins with some interesting royalty-free music.
You light me up with your holiday smile.
Laid over a scene of somebody baking, and right away I nearly lost it with laughter. This movie is about a bakery, and one of the first things you see is this nightmare of a pie. What is going on? The crust doesn't even come up to the edge of the pan. Look, it's being flooded over with filling, and then she just lays the lattice on top of it? Doesn't it have to connect? What is this abomination? Look, I don't know much about anything, but this can't be right. Is this how you make pie? We cut to a swanky apartment where a woman is talking to someone on the phone about contracts. She's very busy. As she leaves, she grabs her breakfast of one piece of dried toast. This is Sarah, and she's a cookbook editor. She's very kind, and this kindness is shown by her giving her coffee to a security guard who needs it more.
You are a coffee angel.
I prefer caffeine queen.
I prefer Keen Bean Queen on the scene myself. She goes into her office, which has the worst, most random holiday decor placement I've ever seen. Composition, non-existent. Also funny to note that the blinds are closed tight because you know damn well they did not film this in Chicago and they can't let anyone know. She reads a letter from her sister who wishes her a happy holiday and says she gave birth to a baby girl. Her boss comes in to talk about failing cookbook sales, and I'm sorry, I cannot stop looking at these decorations. They're terrible. Her boss, Darla, tells Sarah she needs to come up with an idea to boost sales, but becomes distracted by the holiday card, which she just yoinks off the desk without even asking. Who does that?
You never mentioned your family was Amish.
Why did she whisper Amish like it's a bad word? Also, that card did not mention anything about being Amish. How would she know that? Suddenly, she has the brilliant idea to save the company.
The Amish are known for their wonderful baking. This is the answer to your problems?
An Amish cookbook.
Yes, obviously, the answer to declining sales is an Amish cookbook, which Sarah has to go back home for to acquire recipes from her family. Darla threatens to fire her if she doesn't comply, so Sarah sets off to Kentucky.
Come on, everyone. Let's have some fun.
Oh geez, I thought for a second I was watching a Barbie movie. That's the song they chose for this scene? Here's our other lead character. Aw, he's cute but dumb. Right away you get the impression that these two are the ones who are going to fall in love, but the chemistry is in the negatives.
I'm Jonathan's daughter, Sarah.
Wow, burning hot passion.
Sarah, you're home.
You didn't knock. We meet Sarah's sister Rachel, her daughter Hannah, and her dad. Ah yes, the poor man's Nick Offerman. While she's home, Sarah insists that she will help out in the bakery, which is powered with a generator.
Who is that?
Dean Erickson.
Warning, I'm about to hit you with the nerdiest, most useless piece of information you've ever heard. Dean Erickson is the name of the actor who played Gabriel Knight in the live-acted adventure game, The Beast Within. And that's all I could think about when I heard his name. I had to pause the movie to confirm it for myself. I'm sorry to interrupt this video to tell you all this, but I had to. Thank you. Rachel tells her that they lost all the recipes in a kitchen fire and that she bakes from memory now. She asks Sarah how her job is going in Chicago.
You enjoy living in Chicago?
Of course.
And your job's going well?
Cookbook editing is interesting.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you hear that? Are those sleigh bells? Is Santa here? What's going on? We also meet Rachel's husband, and his actor is trying.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you.
Rachel tells Sarah that one of the other Amish bakeries just went out of business, which is concerning. She meets Dean's daughter, Zoe, where she is grilled with mundane questions.
Why haven't I seen you before? What do you do? Are you married? Have any kids? Are you Amish?
Why aren't you in school?
I'm homeschooled.
Oh, that's why you're dumb. Sarah also learns that Dean is an illustrator for a series of books called Z's Adventures. Yes, just another day moving hay. Let me just put it down right here in the middle. Sarah goes to say hi to Dean and offers him a cup of coffee, which is most certainly empty, so when the actor drinks from it, he has to hide the top of the mug. So this is where the characters are supposed to be connecting. This is a romance movie, and even though Sarah is speaking excitedly to Dean, he goes between looking annoyed and like a lost puppy. That mug is sadly as empty as this man's head.
I should really get back to this.
Yep, gotta get back to moving this hay around. Later that night, the family sits around the fireplace and listens to tales from Father Russell Crowe. Sarah tries to convince her dad to open the bakery to the public. The plan is to collaborate with other Amish bakeries and sell baked goods, which could really help out the entire community. Dad is resistant because it's a lot of work.
There's a lot of planning.
Ah yes, because the Amish are notoriously lazy. Though uncomfortable, he says he'll appeal to the leaders for a trial run. I don't know what direction this actor was given for this character, but it apparently involved grunting. A lot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dean is hammering a post. He's doing such a good job. The next morning, it's time to bake.
Not such a morning person anymore?
4:30 is the middle of the night.
4:30 a.m.? No, there is sunlight spilling through the windows. It is not 4:30 in the morning. It's very clearly like 1 in the afternoon. Sarah starts writing down a recipe for cherry pie, and Rachel is sus. Meanwhile, Pa and Zoe spend some quality time together.
What does that mean?
Nobody knows. Seriously though, whoever made this couldn't choose a better font.
What's the worst sound you've ever heard?
Every time there might be a baking scene, it quickly gets interrupted by something. This time, somebody needs to deliver some quilts to another community. Sarah agrees to do the delivery, but before she leaves, the movie makes sure to give us more burning passion between Dean and Sarah.
We'll be safe. The roads are slick after last night's rain.
So hot! So I was really confused by this cut because I thought she was pulling up to drop off the quilts, you know, to finish the scene we just started. But apparently she did all that off screen and she's here pulling up back to the farm. She finds Zoe making a snowman scarecrow.
I do know where I can find a carrot nose.
Where'd she get that carrot from? Did she steal one off a horse? They legit just show her taking a carrot out of a random basket. I don't even know whose yard this is. And what happened to the quilts? Sarah invites Zoe and Dean to make snow cream with her, which is a real dessert that is mostly popular in the South. It's made with freshly fallen snow and some sweeteners.
Add in the milk and the sugar.
Congrats! You just made iced milk. Look, I know it's meant to be simple, but that's just milk over snow. It's iced milk. Sarah and Dean share a more personal moment when she asks him why the Z's Adventure series stopped. He says the death of his wife halted all work on the series as she was the writer and he was the illustrator. He explains they were in a car crash.
If it wasn't for your dad passing nearby.
My dad was there.
He was? Really? Why? How?
He saved Zoe's life.
Oh, you're not gonna say. Okay. Sarah gets a call from Darla who wants some progress on the cookbook. Sarah then blatantly asks Rachel if she would consider partnering with her publishing company to make a book with her recipes, which she obviously is against because they don't want to work with a huge corporation. Rachel says no, and Sarah accepts this answer right away and comes up with another way to help the community, self-publishing a book using a hydraulic printing machine and selling only in the community. I don't know how this helps her situation, but that's the new goal. And Sarah even knows an illustrator. She asks Dean to illustrate the food for the cookbook, which he says he will do for free. He does have one condition though.
I get to taste what I draw.
Can I draw you? So Dean shows up to the bakery to draw, and Rachel's husband Abram offers to get more supplies for all that baking we never see happening.
I could run into town for you. What do you need?
What in the Michael Cera acting is this? Oh good, Dean is hammering again. He and Abram have a vulnerable moment where he expresses nervousness about his newborn daughter.
I don't think she likes me.
You just have to find your thing.
I mean, he has a kid, so I think he did find his thing. So we're about halfway through the film, and at this point I found myself asking, is it just me, or is nothing happening in this movie? There are these scenes that just drag on where a couple characters are talking, but nothing is really happening. I think we're meant to be seeing short vignettes about Amish life and seeing Sarah connect with everyone on the farm, but there's also this weird storyline about the book publisher and saving the company, but I swear, nothing is progressing. Speaking of not progressing, Sarah and Dean go out on a date, I guess, at this weird empty lot with some lit up trees. So romantic. I get they're in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, but they couldn't find anywhere else to go. Also, the snow filter in this scene makes it look like they are in an absolutely torrential snowstorm, and yet they remained untouched by it. Anyway, they take this time to get to know each other.
And I love learning. I really wanted to continue my education.
Wow, you're really unique. Back in Chicago, Darla is so upset that Sarah isn't answering her phone that she takes out her anger on a poor innocent candy cane. She's kind of treating it like a drug, like cocaine. Candy cocaine! Wow, the prop department is really getting a lot of use out of that crappy tree decoration. The community gets ready for Amish Community Day. Rachel has finished all the baked goods, and Sarah says she's almost finished the book?
And with Dean's illustrations and all of our family stories, it puts the book at around 100 pages.
There was only one scene, where Sarah was typing. Where did the other 100 pages come from? This movie never shows anyone doing anything unless it's hammering.
Singing carol.
Sarah loves the illustrations, even though I'm pretty sure Dean just drew the same pie multiple times. Look at it! It's the same pie! This one is just a close-up. Good news, it looks like Dean and Sarah are going to have a date.
Dinner sounds great.
Meet you at the gate.
I like how this farm basically has one place to meet up and it's at the gate because there's apparently nothing else around except for this scary electric tree lot.
Zoe looks a lot like her mom.
Thank goodness for that.
I'm an ugly son of a bitch. They start to get a little cozy and then Dean says this.
I find I can't stop thinking about you.
This is a first date. Is it normal to say that on a first date? They've known each other for like 3 days. They almost kiss but get interrupted. The next day, Rachel asks Sarah how dinner went.
He is really nice.
And that's all I know about him. As Community Day approaches, Sarah reviews the newly published books. Oh no, these are all the same pie! Rachel is so happy because she feels they can now pass down their recipes to a new generation. Visitors are welcome to the property and everything is going great. Everything is homemade. They even made this trash can out of a cow. Also, this is the scariest slide I've ever seen. Go towards the light! This is actually a decent, sweet part of the film where the dad tells Dean that though he's always welcome to stay on the farm with him, he believes that he and Zoe have a life away from there and should be living it. We see how fun the event is with people selling their wares and the kids playing on rides. I like this guy who gently pats a jar of preserves as if to praise it. Such a good jar. Sarah meets Dean under the bleachers and they praise each other for their hard work on the book.
I'd really like to kiss you right now.
I'd really like for you to kiss me right now.
Aw, nice. Wait, what? What was that? What was that? What was that? Look, I know public displays of affection might be different in Amish communities, but they aren't Amish. They aren't courting. When they said those things and didn't kiss, I nearly fell out of my seat. The hell kind of romance movie is this? Things are going a little too well, so Darla comes in to fuck it all up. She demands to know where the book is so they can save their company. Sarah tells her on no uncertain terms that they will not be signing with them and that she cares more about her family than her job. Darla decides she needs to let her go and Sarah accepts this.
And if this means I don't have a job in the new year, I guess that's just something I'm going to have to deal with.
Well, good. She shut Darla down, sacrificed her job. Surely no one will be mad at her for that. That would be insane.
Dad,
It's late. We'll talk about it in the morning.
No. You've got to be kidding me.
I can explain.
Don't bother. I get what's happening.
What? He's mad at her? He accuses her of visiting just to exploit her family, but she didn't!
When Rachel told me no, that was it. End of discussion.
Yes, exactly! There's a scene way early on where Sarah asks if she'd be interested, Rachel says no, and that was it. But he doesn't trust that she won't use his illustrations elsewhere, even though she just lost her job. You know how sometimes romance movies have characters explain their intentions in a really bad way or purposely make them miscommunicate so there's an issue to work through, so there's more conflict? That's not what this movie does with this character. She explains her intentions perfectly. And here's the real kicker. The next morning, her dad says he's not mad because he knew her initial intention and knew she'd have a change of heart. Then Rachel says the same thing and praises Sarah for helping out the community.
You knew too. You're a cookbook editor. Wasn't exactly a mystery.
So this all just could have been said yesterday? Y'all just let this woman feel like absolute shit for no reason? Even though this is infuriating, there is a sad moment where Sarah is saying goodbye to her dad and he clearly wants her to stay. And there's just something about the emotion in this man's face that got to me. But then I got angry again because of this fucking guy. After a talk about forgiveness with Sarah's dad, Dean decides to drive to Chicago on Christmas Day to give her a present. Hey!
Where is Zoe?
Playing Scrabble with your dad.
You left your kid on an Amish farm on Christmas Day? I love that this is so blatantly not Chicago that they have to blur the background out so nobody notices they filmed in Kentucky. Dean says he is sorry for being a dickhead and gives Sarah her Christmas present, which at first I thought was a photograph, but I think it's meant to be a drawing because he's an illustrator, but it's not really clear. It looks like a photo with a Photoshop filter over it. I do like that the picture represents her relationship with her sister and isn't an overly romantic gesture from Dean since they've only known each other for like 5 days. It'd be crazy to get so serious so quickly.
I'm falling in love with you, Sarah.
I stand corrected. Okay, final thoughts. So I'm not against faith-based movies in theory. They all just kind of lack in quality. They could be good, but the acting is always terrible, the plot moves slow as shit, and the conflict is barely one. And to be honest, there seems to be a lot of inaccuracy as far as Amish living goes in this film. The Amish do celebrate Christmas, but they don't use anything commercial, meaning they would not have a decorated Christmas tree, and gift giving is usually a lot more humble. This house is more decorated than Sarah's Chicago office. Dad is also wearing a wedding ring, and that is inaccurate as the Amish do not wear them. Marriage is symbolized by a man's beard. Could have been the actors, but still, you have an entire plot revolving around an Amish family, so it should be as accurate as possible. That being said, there's something I liked about this film. It's actually so saccharine that at times I was like, aw, family. But it's not that good, primarily because nothing really happens, and for about half the movie, I was certain Dean was just annoyed with Sarah. But I gotta say, I had a great time laughing and poking some lighthearted fun at all the absurd moments. Also, Dean is kinda easy on the eyes. My favorite part about reviewing this movie was reading the comments on the YouTube upload. A very sweet movie and storyline. No sex, violence, nudity, profanity. Reminds me of how wholesome movies used to be. You know, like Vertigo and A Clockwork Orange. Wholesome, like movies used to be. So that was Christmas at the Amish Bakery. I hope you liked my insights, and I hope you have a fantastic holiday, hopefully filled with some high quality hammering. If you're interested in all the other things I do, there's a link in the description that holds more links, including my ceramics Instagram, my OF, don't get too excited because most of my photos look like this, and yes, I'm mentioning this in a video about an Amish bakery because I think it's funny, and a link to my gaming podcast, Save Your Game. And if you want to see more content from me, here's a few suggestions. On the right, we have a review for my flagship series, That Time on Murder, She Wrote, and for all you video game lovers out there, I have a video on the psychological thriller, Mouthwashing, on the left. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.